Hi, I'm Jilly G. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make my zucchini noodles with chicken and my version of an Alfredo sauce. Gluten-free, of course, which all of these ingredients are naturally gluten-free to begin with. This is such a fast and easy dinner for a weeknight. It comes together super fast, and you can double or triple all of the ingredients to feed a lot of people. It's also a really great way to use up zucchini from your garden. I really love using vegetables and fruits that are in season. Not using any fruit today, but it's such a great way to use zucchini. And I don't normally serve a vegetable side dish with this because there is zucchini that we'll make into noodles. I'll get to that in a minute with my noodle maker here. Before we get started, I just want you to go ahead and like this video if you like it so far, if you're interested in seeing how this all comes together. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and do that too. The little button is right down here. And as always, my recipe is in the description box. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the rest of my ingredients for my cheese sauce ready. I already have a saucepan over here with about 2 tablespoons of butter. And then I've got 1.5 cups of half and half, and that's half milk and half heavy cream. And then for seasonings, I've got some salt and pepper and some nutmeg. This is to taste. You can add in however much you like. And then for the chicken, I've got 2 chicken breasts that I've already cut up. And then I've got, it's kind of a combination of poultry seasoning with some other things thrown in. But use your favorite chicken seasoning. You could also put Italian seasoning on your chicken, and that would give this kind of an Italian flavor. Whatever you like. The sauce is mostly flavored by the cheese, salt and pepper, and a little bit of nutmeg. So whatever flavorings you put on your chicken will come through. And then the other ingredients for my sauce is, 3 garlic cloves. I've got a chunk of Parmesan cheese, and then a chunk of Swiss cheese. You could make this sauce with all Parmesan, or a combination of different cheeses, whatever you like, whatever your favorite cheese is. I really like the combination of both of these together. I've made this sauce in the past with a traditional roux style sauce, where you melt your butter and stir in some flour, and then you make your roux and then add in your liquid and then your cheese. That works really good. That makes a thicker sauce than what I'm making today. If you like a really thick Alfredo sauce, then you could start with a roux. When I'm using zucchini noodles in place of regular gluten-free pasta, I like to have a little bit of a thinner sauce. And if you don't have fresh garlic, you could just use some powdered garlic or something like that. You could also use a shallot, and that would be a really good replacement for the garlic and help flavor your sauce. And then I'm just going a really fine mince on my garlic. It's going to be in the sauce. So unless you like really big pieces of garlic in your sauce, go for a finer mince. Now that my garlic is chopped, I'm just going to move it aside here on my cutting board so I can grate my cheese and get rid of my garlic mess first. I just have a little handheld cheese grater here. I like this one. It's not super fine, but it's not a really big grate either. And I feel like this is the perfect size to grate the cheese for this sauce. And I think both of my chunks of cheese are about 4 ounces each. Maybe 8 ounces, somewhere in there. This is also to taste. You can add more cheese if you like more cheese, whatever you like. I'm going to get another little dish. I like to save a little bit of cheese for a garnish to go on top. And then we'll go with our Swiss cheese. And this is a Gruyere. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And if all you've ever had for Swiss cheese was sliced cheese, for like a sandwich or something, or even some pre-shredded Swiss cheese, I encourage you to find a brick and grate it yourself. A good quality Swiss cheese is so delicious. And once again, I'm going to save a little bit of my Swiss cheese for a garnish. You don't have to, but I like to. So now that all of the ingredients for our sauce is ready to go, I'm going to move everything closer to my saucepan, just so it's closer over there when I'm ready to add it in. I'm going to turn my frying pan on about medium-high heat, and then we can get our chicken cooking. In my skillet here, I've got, a couple of tablespoons of bacon grease. You could use olive oil, whatever you like. And I shouldn't have moved my cutting board yet. I need to cut the ends off my zucchini. So I've just got 2 small to medium zucchini here. You don't want a really big zucchini that has really big seeds in it. And if you've never seen one of these before, I think the actual name is just a noodle maker. I'll put a link below. But I've had this for many years, and it works so great for zucchini noodles. You can make sweet potato noodles. It comes with these little cartridges, I guess is what you'd call them. Of course, you saw that they were stored down here, and then I do have one in here already. They are sharp, so be careful. This one you could do slices. This one is a really big noodle maker. This one is really good if you want to make something like a curly sweet potato fry. It does a really nice size. It works really good for zucchini too. But the size that I prefer, get this back in here. But the size that I prefer is just a small noodle maker. And it's such a handy little thing. Of course, it's really big and bulky to store. It's kind of a pain to wash, but it's so useful. And it comes with little suction cups on the feet. So I just make sure that it is stuck to my counter. You don't want this moving around. And then it's got a little crank here. And then this right here are little tines that you stick your zucchini on. And then there's a little lever over here. So for the suction cups, they have little tabs that you just lift up and it becomes unstuck. So let me turn it around. So again, this is where you stick your zucchini. It has a little handle. So when you're getting ready, let me turn it this way. When you put your zucchini on, of course, I'll show you. So you stick your zucchini on here, and this little lever helps you move it closer to the blade. Let's get this stuck to our counter. My bacon grease is melting. So I want to get my chicken cooking. So while our chicken is cooking, I can make my noodles. This bowl is a little bit high for the noodles that will come out, but that's all right. And I think I'll turn it this way, give you a better view here. So you just put your zucchini right there. And then I like to make sure it's kind of anchored there, and then just start turning. And it's okay if it doesn't come out exactly like noodles. And for that matter, I could have left the end on. And so what this center hole does, as you can see, it kind of cores the zucchini at the same time. But here are our noodles. And then we can just go right into our bowl. And you can see how long some of these are. But it actually works out okay that some of these are cut apart, because you have to use a knife to cut apart your noodles, because even though they're called zucchini noodles, they're not noodles. So you can't really wrap it around your fork like you would a spaghetti noodle or something like that. So there's my first one. Let's do the second one. And if you try to center your zucchini around that center hole, you do a better job of coring it. Which doesn't really matter, because where the seeds are in a zucchini, it's okay. It sounds so rickety. Okay, There's our zucchini noodles. You can make as many of these as you want. Again, it depends on how many people you're feeding. And these are really good with just a basic spaghetti sauce on top. That's really good too. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Get all my noodles out of there first. Zucchini always makes such a sticky mess all over things. Check on my chicken. If you're serving a lot of people, you could do a whole sheet pan or casserole dish with a whole bunch of chicken and bake it in the oven. That works out really good if you'd like a baked chicken. I really like it cut up and fried in a pan. Then when we go to serve it, it's already cut up and you don't have your noodles and your sauce and then a big piece of chicken that you have to cut up. This way it's really fast and easy to eat it. Let me get that out of the way. So now for my sauce, I'm going to turn the heat on about medium. You want to keep this on a medium heat. And then once my butter is mostly melted, I'm going to add in my garlic. And we want to get this sauteed. We don't want it to brown, but just saute. Don't forget about your chicken. Once your garlic looks like this, I'm going to slowly pour in my half and half. And keep stirring this just so nothing gets stuck on the bottom. I'm going to turn the heat down to low on my chicken. And then a little bit at a time, I'm going to add in my cheeses and let them melt a little bit before I add in the next handful. Very carefully add in the last of the cheese. I'm going to add in my salt, my pepper, and my nutmeg. And at this point, I'm going to turn the heat down to medium-low. And you can see that my sauce is getting thicker. It's still a little on the runny side, but it's coming together really nice. I'm going to turn the heat off my sauce, turn the heat off of my chicken, get a hot pad so I can bring my sauce over here. So now that my sauce is all done, it is not a super thick white sauce or cheese sauce, something like that. I really prefer it to be on the thinner side because if you haven't noticed, we're not cooking our zucchini noodles. With zucchini noodles, this is the best way that I have found to serve them. I should have gotten tongs. But get yourself a big handful of noodles. There we go. And then I like to sprinkle a little bit of chicken on there. And then I give my sauce another good stir. And then just pour it on the top. If your chicken is warm enough and your sauce is warm enough, it will heat the noodles through. But I also like a runnier sauce with the zucchini noodles because it absorbs into the noodles. And then our two different cheeses, sprinkle a little bit on top. Okay, let's give it a bite. Just so I don't make a big mess all over my face trying to take a bite of one really big zucchini noodle. Cut it apart with my fork a little bit. And even the sauce in the bottom of my bowl is already thickened up. It really kind of thickens up with the zucchini in here. That is so good. If you've ever had an Alfredo sauce, where it's really thick and really gloopy, then you know what I'm talking about. I always prefer to go a little bit on the thinner side because it does thicken up here in the bowl. It also absorbs into the zucchini noodles. If I were going to use gluten-free pasta for this dish, I would make a roux first and make my sauce a little bit thicker. And then you can always thin it out if it gets too thick. But for just the zucchini noodles, a thin sauce works best. And you might be concerned that I didn't cook my zucchini noodles or do anything to them. They are just raw. But with the hot chicken and the hot sauce, it is enough to warm them through, and it keeps their texture. The very first time I made zucchini noodles, I had it in my head that I needed to at least throw them in boiling water for a minute just to warm them through and kind of par cook them. And it turned out to be a big mistake. They ended up really soggy, really mushy, and it really didn't go well. So just putting them in a bowl like this, pouring on some warm sauce that's on the thin side, the sauce thickens up and it really does a good job of warming through the zucchini noodles. And of course the chicken is hot too. So perfect. I also one time made pad thai with zucchini noodles. And you really need to be careful because they will absorb a lot of that extra liquid and turn mushy in pad thai. But for something like this, it is perfect. Even just regular spaghetti sauce on top of these noodles is delicious as well. But such a fast, easy weeknight dinner. Very minimal prep work. It all happens around the same time. You don't even have to cook your noodles. The only thing that takes the longest is to cook your chicken. And you're done. And it looks really pretty on a plate. And as I mentioned, just double or triple this recipe in the amount of your zucchini and you can feed a lot of people. As for leftovers, I would not store them in the fridge altogether. If you pour all of the sauce on your zucchini noodles, they will get soggy. But just a little bit of warmth through and they really maintain their texture. So delicious. Let me know what you think if you make this recipe. Let me know what you think of zucchini noodles. Even though you feel like you're eating pasta, kind of. I mean, it is zucchini. Don't fool yourself that it will be exactly like pasta. It's not. But it's a really delicious way to get in extra vegetables and not have a really heavy summertime dinner. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.